All right, hello again everyone. Nate here, and just today want to go over how to use the alcohol stove that's made from a cat food can. So got my Zpacks Pot Bag that matches my ultralight Evernew titanium pot, and I'm going to prepare just some boiling water today. So yeah, first of all, I keep everything in here, so I'm just gonna pull out all the side items, set them over to the side, my vitamins and toothbrush, toothpaste, and cleaning cloth, and just set up on this surface here, my stove, and just get it ready to boil some water for everyone. So I will say, always make sure that you prepare food or boiling water even on a durable surface. That's true with all cooking methods. It's the most leave no trace mentality for cooking, but most importantly with this particular method. And if you've ever been to an Appalachian Trail shelter, you've seen the circular rings of burnt char areas that are left on picnic tables or in the shelters themselves. What that'll be is people have overfilled or spilled the denatured alcohol from their alcohol stove, and it has burned a ring into the table. So you can definitely damage important pieces of property, but if you do have a fire on some grass or brush area, you could definitely actually cause a fire, so be careful with that. So yeah, the tools that you're going to need for this are the pot as I described, and then a alcohol stove made out of a cat food can. You can find these in any type of store where they might sell pet food, but also I've seen beans and fish products put into cans like this, so pretty easy to find, usually between 10 and 50 cents for something like this. And just a quick rundown on how you make it. If you see these holes, if you'll take a single hole punch and just go around and kind of alternate up and down around the rim, you'll be able to make one. It takes about 10 minutes tops. The longest step is just washing the stinky cat food smell out of the can. So that's about it. So anyway, set your stove on a durable surface. You're going to want some type of windscreen if possible. This stove is very susceptible to wind, so really important to have a windscreen. I use a windscreen that I got. I bought a windscreen for a Whisperlight MSR stove, and then just cut it up down to size to where it almost completely wraps around my pot like this. So yeah, and you can, shape it a little bit to where it fits better now and again. So yeah, but anyway, to boil, this is about 600 milliliters of water. It goes up to 9, and I would say to boil a liter of water, I usually fill this all the way up. I'm not going to really boil an entire liter, so I'm just going to fill it halfway up. And when I say I'm going to fill it halfway, what I mean by that is halfway up to the bottom ring of dots that I have punched out with my hole punch. So again, Vargo denatured alcohol fuel bottle. I think they cost 10 bucks, something like that. I bought it while I was on trail in Hot Springs one year, a few years ago. And it's great because it's leak proof when you have it closed. It squirts. The only thing is, don't be tempted while this is lit to squirt more fuel in there. So yeah, I'm gonna set this off to the side just for safety, and go ahead and get some water and light everything up. Okay, I've got my water. I'm gonna fill up my, maybe need a little rinse. Okay, I'll fill up my pot here with a smart water bottle. Maybe it would have been easier to take the lid off, but there we are. Set that off to the side so it doesn't melt in any way. And put the lid on. Remove the Cuban fiber. Don't want to melt that either. And then go ahead and light the stove. Now I've tried several lighters, but your cheapo big type lighter is the best. I've tried Zippos, things like that, and they just don't work as well. So light it up and just take that flame and put it right down. Now you might not immediately see the flame. This is how people can get burned sometimes. So take a look on here, you can see the flame, but it's not always visible. So always just run your hand over, and if you feel a wave of heat on that quick pass by, you know your fuel is burning, your stove is lit. Set the lighter to the side, get that windscreen around your stove, and then be very careful. This is important because on a slightly uneven surface you can spill your water, and worst case your fuel. And then just gently bend that windscreen around your stove, and yeah, let it set to boil. So we're gonna boil this water, wait a couple minutes, and I'll be back and we'll make a cup of trail coffee. And take a quick peek here, see how it's going. Pretty much nothing so far. Definitely you'll be using that fast forward feature in the post-production. All right, we're starting to get a little bit of steam here. That's good. That lid back on. Watch, pot never boil. And again, while this is working, you can always lift your pot up and check to see how much fuel you have left. Just be careful to stay back because the flames do come rather high, sometimes 6, 12 inches and even higher above the actual stove. So looks like we've burned about 2/3 of the fuel we put in there originally, and gonna let it keep simmering. I'm realizing I'm going to need just a little bit more water, so I'm going to add some more water to our pot that again is very close to boiling. And this shows you that, hey, maybe you realize you're going to need a little bit more water. You can always add some during the cook process, no problem. The only thing you can't add, remember, is more fuel. That's quite dangerous. And this is just such a great stove if you're just starting out. Maybe you can't afford even a pocket rocket, and you've got a pot maybe that you can bring from your house, or even, you know, a cheap stainless steel cup from a big box store, and you know, you can make this out of a can of cat food, and they sell the denatured alcohol. You don't have to have this bottle, you can use a water bottle. Just be careful they spill, and make sure you mark it to differentiate it from your drinking water. Although I suspect you to know what you did quite quickly if you accidentally drank it. But yeah, denatured alcohol, I think it's $7 or $8 in a small blue rectangle can, like in the paint section of a store. So yeah, you could probably get started with a camp cook stove for $30 tops with this particular setup, maybe even less. Depending on how cheap you can get just a very introductory stainless steel or anodized aluminum cook set from, say, Amazon or something like that. So that is definitely a benefit of this system. Super cheap. The only thing cheaper that I can imagine would be to go without a stove altogether. Alright, so even since I've added that water, we are back to steam on the lid coming off the water, bubbles around the edges again. Good flame still, right at the very bottom of the fuel. actually, so the water is so close to boiling, I'm going to just take it. I'm happy with that. We've got a little bit of a rolling boil of bubbles on the edge. So that's definitely good enough for me to work with on making some coffee. We're at the very remnants of the fuel here. And again, if you want to refuel mid-cook, say I wanted to bring that to a completely rolling boil for a water purification purpose, or maybe I'm making a soup or something, you would just pour some fuel right back in, light it right back up, take your stove, set it right back on top. Simple as that. The only thing is, again, I'm just going to reiterate this, never put fuel into the burning stove, because then you'll be spraying almost like a flamethrower situation. Very dangerous. So we've got our water all boiled up, and it's time to make some trail coffee, which I'll be showing in another video clip, so please follow along if you'd like to see that one too. Thanks. See you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the cat can alcohol stove.